for everyone who deeply respects, loves, and reveres all things holy that honor God, for anyone who acknowledges his power and wishes to please and obey him. This is the Salvation Report.
Salvation.
And now, here is your host, world-renowned author and researcher, Robert Stanley.
And here I am, your host, Robert Stanley, coming to you from sunny southern Florida, where there's a hurricane destroying, I guess it finished destroying Jamaica, hitting Cuba. Hopefully it's passing by us again. It's always tricky. Always a bit tricky. So today is Wednesday, the 29th of October, 2025. Again, it's just hard for me to imagine that the time is just flying by. And so I hope you're well. I am doing well, despite all the stress that's going on. Very concerned about what's going to happen this weekend, but we'll discuss that with our special guest. AJ Rice is scheduled to join us. And hopefully that'll go well. The gods of technology will smile upon us. You just never know. So this is AJ. Just so you know, we've worked together in the past, and I was very privileged to do so. America's Morning News, national drive time radio show out of Washington, D.C. But his current bio says, AJ Rice is America's publicist and the undisputed GOAT of, that means greatest of all time, conservative public relations / columnist, humorist, and impresario. I'm not sure what that means. Officially, Rice serves as president and CEO of Publicis, I don't know how to say this, Publius PR. Publius PR. I'll show you the link down below. I'm going to have a link to that, his Substack. He's the editor-in-chief of the Publius National Post on Substack and is the author of the #1 Amazon bestseller, The Woking Dead: How Society's Vogue Virus Destroys Our Culture. Rice is a brand manager, star whisperer, media influencer, and literary agent who has produced, promoted, or represented people such as Laura Ingraham, Judge Jeanine Pirro, Donald Trump Jr., Monica Crowley, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Vivek Ramaswamy, and the list goes on. I mean, and I didn't know AJ was so well connected. I mean, I guess I could have guessed that, but he recently sent me his new book. His newest book came out last year. And this is an amazing book. Honestly, I am not one to give praise where it's not due, but this is a really important book, and it's not just for white people. It really describes the current state of affairs and how we got into this mess, and ultimately that we shouldn't participate in that kind of wokeness, or I mean, it's satanic to me. But anyway, I'll let AJ explain it to me when he shows up a little bit later. Today, as I said, is Wednesday for me. I don't know when you're watching this. Hopefully you are watching this. Otherwise, I'm just talking to myself through this little microphone here. But it's such an interesting time to be alive, don't you think? It kind of boggles my mind. Every time I wake up in the morning, I just wonder what's going to happen next. Look, I have faith. I trust God is going to handle all of this, but we have a part to play. We have a role to play in all of it as well. So, people are reaching out to me in a more spiritual way now because I'm doing a different format. As you may have noticed, if you know me from my past work, it was far more focused on the paranormal and new age type of stuff. And obviously, things have changed in my life. So naturally the show is going to change. And I'm very concerned about the direction we're headed, but I mean, I guess this was all predicted or predictable. That I'll just put it to you this way. I'm sorry to repeat myself, but the war in heaven didn't start here, but it is going to end here. And the only way it will end is when God, Jesus, returns to put an end to it. So, and again, that's not a religious statement on my part. That's an observation or realization that that's just the way it is. God created this universe and this planet and all of us for a purpose, and unfortunately things went awry, but I believe that was all known in advance and that it served a purpose. So it's hard for us to comprehend because we're just kind of have a limited understanding of it, and that's fine for now. But ultimately, everyone is going to know everything at some point, and it'll all make sense, and we can move forward from there. So I hope you guys. It's so weird the monitor on this thing. I keep struggling with all these knobs and buttons I got to push. It's like when I was a kid, I thought the Jetsons was a joke. I mean, yes, it's a cartoon, but I thought it was a joke that George would complain about having to push buttons all day at the factory that they still had factories there, and I guess you had to push buttons in order for the robots to make it. But now that I'm working in this studio, it's no joke. I mean, I just want to have a show, but okay. Let's see. Hopefully that worked. No, I got to do. No. Oh, here's the button. See, I was just complaining about buttons. Hi, AJ.
There he is. We meet at last, homie.
Yes.
We meet at last.
Yes, sir. It's good to see you.
I hope you spend the first 20 minutes of this interview explaining to the audience how we know each other.
Well, it didn't take quite that long, but yeah. So what? Look, I already shared with them. Well, okay. Let's back up. You sent me this first, The Woking Dead, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed, but not as much as your new book, The White Privilege Album. I can't wait for it to come out in Ebonics on audiobook.
That's right. No, it's true. It's absolutely true. I've got Charlie Murphy, Eddie Murphy's brother, reading it as we speak. That's right.
Wow. Seriously?
No, not seriously. But Charlie Murphy's actually dead. But I will tell you. I'm from Philadelphia, so I got a little white chocolate in me. I got a little Ebonics in me already. So look, Volume 2, The White Privilege Album. You mentioned Volume 1. We just released a paperback of The White Privilege Album 2 Fridays ago. White Privilege came out last year. I try to do these every 2 years. So I've got one brewing for next year. And it'll be, I'll have to go in the witness protection program with that one. But look, if you like Pink Floyd's The Wall, you take a look at that book cover. And, apologies to the Beatles, the four boys from Liverpool, but not to Yoko Ono. We don't give a shit what Yoko Ono thinks. So, no Yoko Ono.
Yeah. Okay, I pushed the wrong button again. Man, I don't know what is with. Sorry, I'm trying to. I don't produce my own show. I don't have a producer, AJ. I need you.
Are you recording?
Yes, I am. I already gave you a nice introduction based on what you got here.
That's right. Nice introduction based on this right here. That's right. Based on this. That's right. That's
okay.
right.
Okay. I don't know if this is actually okay. It looks like I'm looking at it's like flying a plane, and trying to talk to the passengers at the same time. Anyway. All right. So questions for you are, who's your target audience for the White Privilege Album? Because honestly, it didn't seem like you were actually writing this for white people, to my opinion.
Well, I am dunking on white people. Look, let's be honest. There's two things going on here. There is in one pillar, we're sort of making the case that without white privilege, tons of progress wouldn't have happened. Without the nuclear family,
right?
Without the middle class, without Western civilization, Greco-Roman, Judeo-Christian civilization, without those things, tons of things wouldn't have happened. And I give tons of examples throughout history, and I defend some of our holidays. I defend some of the boogeymen of the left, like Christopher Columbus and Santa Claus. And look, you have to also understand that at the same time, the sort of most radical, kooky denomination, ethnic group, if you will, are the Karen-esque white liberal women, white people.
Right.
So you've got, look, how many black presidents put a black person on the Supreme Court? The answer is 0.
Right.
Every black person that's ever been on the Supreme Court was put there by a white person, including the vegetable, who put the dumbest woman in history, Ketanji Brown Jackson, the dumbest woman in history. She's a big, Broadway star now. I don't know. She's a backup at Tony and Tina's wedding or something. But obviously, you had Thurgood Marshall and you had Clarence Thomas, and now you have the dumbest woman on the court. Makes Sotomayor, the wise Latina, look amazing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to take a step back. You have to say, all right, the White Privilege album is volume 2 in a series. Okay.
Right.
Volume 1 was kind of, The Woking Dead was kind of a catch-all of a lot of different ways that wokeism, and we could get into what that is, because I have a definition for it, unlike most dummies. There's a couple, look, it's like the Crayola 64 box, right? There's a lot of different colors of what wokeism is, right? There really is from the left, there is no unified theory of wokeness from their perspective, because all they really are doing is overlaying sort of classical cultural Marxism onto different types of protected groups, different types of grievance groups, and different types of your garden variety social justice warriors. So whether it's Queers for Palestine or Black Lives Matter, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the suit of armor they're in, because they're all wearing on the inside the cultural Marxist sort of radical playbook, going from Antonio Gramsci from the late 19th century all the way through to, Barack Obama and AOC and Mamdani today. I mean, you could tether these guys together. It's all sort of the same slow march through the institutions, right? It began over 100 years ago. And we could get into why that happened and later. So for me, look, I was raised on Howard Stern and Rush Limbaugh. I come from radio. That's how you and I know each other.
Yeah.
I'm a politically incorrect guy. I'm a Philadelphia sports fan. Everything you've ever heard about us is true. We own it. We love it. We're coming for you.
Yeah.
I hope all the Dallas Cowboys fans turn off right now. But you have to take it. You have to take it to the left. And one of the ways you can do that without being too hurtful, although, I'm Catholic, so I'm all right. I'm good with pain, is you have to hang jokes on them. Yeah. And one of the things Howard was brilliant at before he lost his mind, I think he got so many boosters, him and Billy Joel out there on Long Island, all those gallons and gallons of baby oil at those Diddy white parties.
Yeah.
So you get gallons of baby oil combined with 75 to 100 Pfizer and Moderna boosters. And Howard just kind of lost his mind because he was a politically incorrect rebel. The guy I grew up with, he was actually my first introduction to Donald J. Trump.
Really?
I know who Donald Trump was because Trump was on his show every week.
Oh.
Every week and having events at the casinos in Atlantic City. And look, 94, I'm 14. 95, I'm 15. I'm 16. I'm working summer jobs. I'm listening to Howard from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Yeah, I did too.
Right. So, right. Now, Rush is a different animal, although they both had the same birthday, which is interesting.
Really?
Yes. Howard and Rush are born different years, but on the same day.
Wow.
Which is January 12th. And your humble guest, talking to you right now, was also born on that day. So, yeah, wow. I'm the radio antichrist, which I know the Stanley audience knows a lot about that, right? That's why only I can wear this, right? So here's the thing. Rush used to say that his job was to use irreverent humor to illustrate truth.
Yeah.
So I write the way I talk.
You do.
This isn't the Queen's English. You're not getting that.
Yeah, but you.
It's more like
But you're also you have a degree in English lit.
I do,
And
but
it shows. It shows.
I
in your
do,
writing.
but I would have been a Mark Twain guy, not a Henry James guy. See, Henry James hated
Yeah.
Henry James hated Twain because Twain was writing in the language, the way people actually
can relate.
spoke on the Mississippi.
Yeah.
And that has been picked up throughout by Hemingway, and it was picked up by Elmore Leonard. It was picked up by Quentin Tarantino,
Right.
and so on. Right?
Right.
Everyone from the Coen brothers to Woody Allen to, even some like British guys, like the guy that directed what was it, Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking. The guy that was married to Madonna for a short period of time. I mean, there are people that write this way.
Okay.
Yeah. And some people say it's pulp. I mean, look, Scorsese does it. I mean, when you talk about Sicilians, if you watch The Sopranos or you watch A Departed or whatever it is, I mean, this is the language of the folks.
Right.
So, going all the way back with Twain to like, what was it? Like The Jumping Frog of Calaveras County or some short story he wrote. Right. He was a newspaper reporter. I mean, Poe did it. Poe was picking, stories out of the Baltimore Sun and then turning them into, he's taking real murders and turning them into his version of them. And the people in those stories they're all talking the common language. So that's the thing, is that, I write in a way that is approachable. I'm not here to be Charles Dickens, although he did a little bit of that too. It's not Shakespeare, and I'm not here to be Charles Krauthammer or Victor Davis Hanson, even though they were both clients of mine.
Really?
At one time or another. And look, there's room for everyone. If you're going to have a revolution, and this was true about the American Revolution, you can't just have a bunch of eggheads.
Right.
Dreamers, right? You can't just have a bunch of pious people like Adams or dreamers like Jefferson. You got to have some functional geniuses like Franklin, but you also have to have rebel rousers like Sam Adams and Patrick Henry, and right. You have to have them, right? And then you have to have the indispensable man, which was George Washington, and the indispensable man of the moment right now is Donald John Trump. We've had them. America produces them. America is interesting in the sense that we seem to produce these people at the exact moment we need them, whether they're John F. Kennedy or Teddy Roosevelt or Andrew Jackson, whoever the hell they are, Reagan, whoever they are.
Right.
It's almost like America notices that there's an infection, and these people are white blood cells that the United States conjures to fly towards the infection.
Yeah, white privilege blood cells.
That's right. White privilege blood cells. No, you're exactly correct. And that stops the infection. And look, my job is to dunk on people. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I grew up on Rush and Howard. I was mentored by Andrew Breitbart, who basically would tell you that, the American people, they care more about what's going on in their culture than they do who's running for dog catcher in Des Moines, Iowa, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, and I obviously, me because I was the executive producer for The Great Lady.
Yes.
And
that's Laura Ingraham for
that's correct. So, and and she's like a sister to me. She gave me a blurb for the Woking Dead.
Very nice. Yes.
I've been on her TV show. Been on the podcast when she still had that.
Yep.
We communicate a lot, and she mentored me, and then Monica Crowley did as well.
Wow.
And then they're kind of like my big sisters that kind of, pulled me from the river like Moses. and look, they're not the same. They're different. They're, fire and ice, I call them. But they helped me. And I've been in this game now, Stanley, for, 3 decades I've now going on.
You look really young for your age.
And now I'm well. Beauty is pain, my friend. Right? Just remember, the liver never forgets. Yeah. And I'm basically aging backwards like Benjamin Button. When you met me, I was an old man. So
that's because you got up to it. So you got up so early for that American.
I'm going. I sleep in a hyperbaric chamber. Okay,
is that what it is?
That's right. I get injected every night with the souls of liberalism. That's what, I I eat the souls of liberalism.
Okay, well, that is working. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. I would say that I feel smarter after reading the White Privilege album. Unlike a lot of books that I read, in my life, and I've read a lot, thousands, but it's very easy to understand, and it's also factual in the sense that you're not trying to theorize. You have
No.
your opinion. It's very highly opinionated, which is fine, but it's also very factual, cutting through the crap of this new, as you said in the first book, wokeism. It seems to be a mind virus. I don't
Sure.
think. Well, I mean, that's what it's more than that. It's a social movement.
Yeah, and
Clearly.
even before Elon called it that,
Yeah.
How society's vogue virus destroys our culture.
Right.
Right? That's the subtitle of this. And then I went full Trollmaster Flash with the subtitle of the other one, which is bringing racial harmony to very fine people on both sides. And look, I just want to say, before we go any further,
Yeah.
I want to give a big shout out to all the very fine people out there, watching today, because I know they're in this audience. The very fine people on both sides are in this audience. And, they tune in. They're very smart. Some of them love Robert E. Lee statues. Some of them don't. And look, we're here for everyone, and look, we're also here to make fun of everyone. Obviously, the very fine people lie sort of became, we're going almost 10 years now to when he said this.
You're talking about Charlottesville.
The Charlottesville nonsense. Right.
Yeah.
This became, and it still exists. I still hear it coming out of the mouths of the dummies. Yeah. This became the sort of foundational superstructure that a lot of the race lies have been built on since. It's sort of the original sin, the original lie that laid the foundation for the Trump is a racist narrative.
Yeah.
So, whether it's, obviously there's, January 6th and there's George Floyd nonsense and all the rest of it. But this was the foundational one.
Right.
He said that there were very fine people on both sides of the protest in Charlottesville. And, I'm not going to get into who was there in Charlottesville. There were actually 3 groups there.
Right.
But the reality is there are people here in the Commonwealth of Virginia that don't want these statues torn down, because you have to understand something. Virginia is special. It's a Commonwealth, not a state, just like Massachusetts and Pennsylvania. And you have to understand, both the Revolutionary War and the Civil War ended here at Yorktown and at Appomattox Courthouse. They ended here. The first political dynasty in American history starts here.
Wow.
Where you have 4 of the first 5 presidents from the Commonwealth of Virginia. Washington, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, and there were others later. It also birthed presidents. I mean, Zachary Taylor was born here. And I go on. And obviously, the Lee family, who the left hates. Now, Light Horse Henry Lee, Robert E. Lee's grandfather, was the cavalry commander for George Washington. His grandson is Robert E. Lee, who was a Union soldier, was an American general, and served in the Mexican-American War. He's the one that went out and put down John Brown's assault on Harper's Ferry. And then he had a choice to make. And unfortunately for Lee, he chose Virginia over the United States of America. And he told Lincoln, to his face that. And, the rest is history. I mean, Lincoln had a bunch of dummies, the fancy people, that had gone to had all the good grades and all the rest of McClellan and the rest of them. They couldn't get it done. They were getting beaten. Our A students in the Union were being beaten by the A students of the Confederacy. So what did Lincoln do? He went and found all the C students that didn't give a shit, the Shermans and the Grants and the Sheridans, and he brought all the C students in, the ones that, they couldn't go to VMI, they couldn't go to West Point, they couldn't go to the Citadel, and it was really the first time in military history that the C students kicked the asses of the A students, which is a theme here, which is a theme with me in my own personal biography.
Yeah.
I came to Washington 22 years ago.
Wow.
And I'm in all these young Republican groups and the fancy kids and the kids that went to $30,000 kindergartens and all the rest of it. I had to elbow them. I had to elbow in on them. right? I had to bust balls on them because I'm a state school kid from Northeast Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Right? So, and I'm Catholic. I'm not, one of the frozen chosen, a Presbyterian. Right?
Yeah.
So, I'm hot under the collar. And, I had to fight my way through this. And I will tell you, when Trump ascended and the OG came down the golden escalator.
Yeah. 2016.
You have to understand that here in town, I'm running Publius PR at the time.
Publius, yes.
And, which I still run today. This book stuff's just a hobby. But, you had 17 people running for president in a Republican primary. Because I knew Trump from Howard, and then I knew Trump from The Apprentice and bringing him and Don and Ivanka and everyone in to be on Laura's radio show and be on Monica's radio show.
Wow.
And look, Trump is the playboy of the Western world, but he's also a cultural icon from a lot of things, including his battle with Rosie O'Donnell and all the rest of it. Yeah. And he comes down the golden escalator and gives that speech that first day. Remember when he said, they're not sending their best? Well, ladies and gentlemen, over the last 10 months, we have found who their best is. Tom Homan's finding them. Christie's finding them.
Yeah.
Hegseth's finding them in boats, little cigarette boats getting blown to Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
And their best are
the word
MS-13, rapists, killers, Tren de Aragua, serial killers, October 7th terrorists from Hamas hiding in Arkansas. I mean, I can go on and on.
Yeah.
Who their best is, kid touchers and all the rest of it, Ilhan Omar and all the rest of it. They're not sending their best. And he's been right. The last decade, he's been right.
Yeah.
We're living through their best. Lots of families that have had children die from fentanyl poisoning, that's their best. That's their best.
Yeah.
So they got to go. Your neighbor, hey, time to deport your neighbor, okay? If you're living, right?
Yeah.
Right? We got to create a guide to deporting your neighbor. That's what we have to do. That's my next. That might be my next project someday.
Well, wait a minute. Yeah, I know you're writing another book. Can you tell us a little bit about that, or we have to wait till next?
Well, I mean, look, Volume 3 is done. It's being edited. It will be out next spring.
Oh wow! Okay.
It focuses on the trans mafia.
Oh.
It focuses on the fact that there's one thing we have learned here in the last 10 months. We've learned a lot about Trump and how a real president works and how to get things done at a record clip. We learned how he is the great disruptor. Reagan was the great communicator. Lincoln was the great emancipator. Trump is the great disruptor. And then, unlike last time, he brought an entire team of disruptors. The Tulsis, the RFKs, the Petes, Marco. I mean, a lot of these people are our clients here at Publius PR. And,
that's amazing.
And, unlike the first time, we're dropping Moabs on these departments. You can't just take the head of the fish off. I know my Greek friends like to say the fish rots from the head. It does.
Yeah.
But the problem with the deep state and the establishment is the very boring, very banal middle management. Okay? The middle management is the problem.
Right.
The permanent state, the permanent administrative, living here for 40 years, being paid by Stanley, his wife, and all of you out there, the fruited plain, being paid, sitting there, sniffing their own farts in their cubicles and their Venetian blinds in these alphabet departments and these alphabet agencies that none of you, until Elon showed you, knew existed and you were paying for. You're paying for trans musicals in Ireland and trans surgeries in Colombia and, trans surgeries at MSNBC and all the rest of it. You're all paying for this.
Yeah.
So you have to understand, the left has not learned their lesson from the last election. They've lifted up their skirt, and there is 73 genders under there.
Wow.
And what else is under there, Robert? What else is under there? Well, judges turning around planes filled with narco terrorists and gangbangers and Tren de Aragua and MS-13 and all the rest of it.
And the thing with the tariffs too, they're trying to block.
Coming to a cul-de-sac near you.
Yeah.
Who else? Wait, who else have they shown us they are? They love assassinating healthcare executives in the streets.
Oh yeah.
They love going into Nancy Mace's bathroom with beards. They love the IRS. The stinky white patchouli people are out there. They were trying to burn down Tesla dealers,
Right.
for a little while. Trump and Elon had to do this okey doke breakup to get them to stop burning down Tesla dealers.
Oh, is that what happened?
I don't know what happened.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
I don't know what happened, but let's just say, that got them to stop.
Right.
Also, you've got these characters, and I'm not here to go down any, Israel-Palestine rabbit hole, but let me just say this. One of the things the left loves are these, characters on college campuses, Yale and Columbia, the rest of it, that are hunting down Jewish students.
Right.
Some Jewish students majoring in, finance, getting chased down through his dorm. So this is who they are. They're the Jew hunters. They love I heart Tren de Aragua. I heart Hamas. I heart MS-13. I heart the IRS. This is who they are. This is who they're preparing to show America with the election of a Ugandan-born Pakistani plant as the mayor of the financial capital of the world. The Ugandan mayor.
Wow.
The Ugandan mayor, Robert. I hope everyone's ready. The poster boy for how you take radical Islam and you have sex with radical Marxism. It's like trying to breed a French bulldog and a Great Dane. It's like they're breeding two animals that have should actually hate each other, but they're breeding them.
Yeah.
And voila, you get Jasmine Crockett, and you get Elon Omar, and you get AOC, and you get Bernie leading the youth movement. You get Pocahontas.
Yeah.
You get Mamdani. This is listen to me. This Mamdani,
Yeah.
I hope he's ready for war. Trump won't just send the National Guard. Does Mamdani think the NYPD will listen to him or listen to the man from Queens? We're going to find out. If he wins, we are going to find out. This guy is the face of the Democrat Party. AOC is the face.
Right.
The Democrats have been trying to hide their face since Obama left. But there's no more Joe Liebermans. There's no more Ed Rendells or Evan Bayes or Bill Clintons coming. They're not coming.
There's no moderates. Yeah.
They're not coming.
Yeah.
They are not coming. And the Democrats are in a full state of panic. Because what do? Do you embrace the Hamas mayor? The mayor that takes pictures with unindicted co-conspirators of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing? You might as well get Ramzi Youssef out there, get Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, and go eat some falafel with them. And, this is who we're talking about here. And look, I know this audience has all kinds of ideas about September 11th, but let's just understand that even if, these are radical Islamic clerics that don't like the United States. Whether they're meat puppets for some other thing, that's not my forte, Robert. That's yours. But my point to you is that he has no shame doing that.
Right.
Barack Obama really worked overtime to hide the pictures of him and Farrakhan, to hide the pictures of him and Jesse Jackson Jr., to hide the pictures of him and Bill Ayers and Bernadine Dorn, to hide the pictures of him and Frank Marshall Davis. To this day,
yes,
I'm going to take you in the Wayback Machine. To this day, the Los Angeles Times still has a videotape of Barack Obama toasting Rashid Khalidi. They never released it.
Wow.
So these are radical Islamists Obama, he was the John the Baptist figure for sure. He's the one that came before. He paved the way for this.
Wow.
There's got to be some part of him though that's not a total dummy that knows. The Gretchen Whitmer voter in Michigan isn't the same as the Mamdani Hamas voter.
Right.
And, I saw a poll the other day. And look, understand this, ladies and gentlemen. These two books are books that dunk on these people. I call them out step by step, month by month, insult after insult, with a smile on my face like the Cheshire Cat. And I will just say that, I saw a number that Jewish voters in New York City, like 30% of them, they're going to vote for Hamas.
It's suicidal.
They're going to vote for Abdul Sheikh Rahman. I mean, they're voting for KSM. They're voting for Ramzi Youssef. They're voting for Edward Said. They're voting for all of them.
Wow.
Yeah. We have a guy, after 9/11, my auntie,
Yeah, she can't ride the subway.
I mean, she can't ride the subway. Remember the fake, this Indian guy got punched in the face after 9/11.
Yeah, a Sikh,
I think most New Yorkers and North Jersey citizens pretty much, as Joan Rivers used to say, under freaking reacted, quite frankly.
Yeah,
actually, they probably should have punched a few in the face. Little friendly fire. Hamas loves friendly fire.
Yeah.
Hamas loves, civilian casualties, oopsie casualties.
Yeah.
So, it didn't happen. The left tried to say it happened.
Yeah.
But look, he's a construct. His mother's a filmmaker. His father is a radical Marxist professor.
And they're very wealthy, too.
Very wealthy. This is a millionaire trust fund baby that is of Pakistan descent from Uganda. Uganda is a place where he still holds citizenship.
Oh,
and just for our far left friends and the trans mafia out there that I know are listening, all the bearded ladies out there, you need to understand something. Uganda is a place that executes homosexuals, gay people.
Right.
Still.
Wow.
So the new mayor of New York is going to be a dual citizen for the place that kills gays. I hope Fire Island's listening. I hope Chelsea's listening. I hope the trans mafia and the rainbow doofuses are listening.
Wow.
You could be voting for Mamdani one day, and the next day be floating down off the top of the Empire State Building. You never know.
Yeah.
Never know.
Wow. Okay, you've blown out all the questions that were in my brain.
So here's the thing with the White Privilege album. Just came out in paperback. It's 12 chapters, and each chapter is a month of the year. So January's chapter 1 and December's chapter 12. And I go through an entire calendar year.
Oh, that's right. That's the theme. Okay.
I go through an entire calendar year. Just remember, at the heart of all of this, I'm still just a marketing guy.
Yes.
I'm the anti-woke Harry Potter. So, Harry Potter at year 1, year 2, year 3. Well, I've got numbers on the spine of my books too, 1 and 2 right there.
Yeah.
So we're all going to the anti-woke Hogwarts together. I go through an entire calendar year and I defend holidays, traditions. Chapter 10 is October, where, I talk about Halloween. We talk about Columbus Day, because that's when Columbus Day takes place.
Yeah.
I talk about how in the 80s, my 3 favorite Halloween costumes were 3 black guys. So it was Julius Erving, Dr. J, Charles Barkley, and of course, Darth Vader, who wore a black outfit, was voiced by a black genius.
Right.
And then the mask came off, it was just a dumpy white guy inside. So, exactly. Talk about cultural appropriation, my friend. Right?
Weird.
Talk about inside every black villain, there's an old white guy, right?
Hey, no, wait a minute. You're right about that. You mentioned that they're being pawns puppeted by these woke liberal white woke cards.
sure, look, here's the thing. The Democrat Party was the party of slavery and Jim Crow
and the
and the Klan and eugenics and Woodrow Wilson and Margaret Sanger and the whole gang, right?
Yeah.
So, it's a fun gang, that gang, right? African Americans escaped the plantation only to eventually, after the 60s and into the 70s, end up on an intellectual plantation.
Right.
I think some of that is starting to break. The Republican Party, in this last election cycle, increased their votes with black females, black males, Hispanic males, Hispanic females, Asian, Indian, right? Middle Eastern. Right. I mean, Trump won Dearborn, Michigan, and he also won the Jewish suburbs of Philadelphia. How did he do that? The great Hitler, the great divider, ultra MAGA, ultra fascist, and all the rest, insurrection, all the rest of the nonsense. How did he get the brothers in Detroit, in Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Clark County, Nevada, to vote for him? Yeah. How did he get all these African American males to vote for him? There's a couple reasons. One is, Kamala Harris is black one day and Jamaican the next and Indian the next and this and the first this and the first that.
Yeah.
But before the election, Barack Obama went to Pittsburgh and he walks in to a room full of the brothers, a bunch of Steelers fans. He's wearing his Brioni suit, $4,000 suit, walks in there. The hip hop, long-legged Mac Daddy that he is, walks in there. And he immediately starts talking down to this group of African Americans that remember Trump by being part of hip hop culture himself, because Trump is mentioned by rappers up until he ran for president almost in every album.
Wow.
But they also remember the pre-COVID economy that Trump had going, and it wasn't bad. And then Biden, comes in, it goes to crap. And they also remember that the first black president didn't do much for African Americans, except, play a little ball with D. Wade and LeBron at the White House.
Right.
And he looks at them and he says, listen, I'm concerned, brothers, that some of the men in the room here, the brothers, aren't going to vote for our sister, Kamala. So he's talking down to these people.
Yeah.
He's basically saying that you're not going to vote for her. She's black. Black should trump gender, that you're not going to vote for her, the woman that's never won a primary in her life, not going to vote for her because she's a female, right? This is the old, soft bigotry of low expectations. And it's alive and well. They expect this group and that group, and, because here's the thing. Trump doesn't do this. He's not an ideological guy. Right? He's friends with Lawrence Taylor. He's friends with Lawrence Taylor. He's friends with country west, big and rich. He's friends with all. He's friends with Kelsey Gray. He's friends with all different types of people.
Right.
Nutty Kanye and all. Look. So here's the thing. The Democrats try to sort of organize us like a Benetton ad into our little social grievance groups. And as long as they can keep these groups at each other's throats, with the white Karens coming in, right? The pumpkin spice mafia, the pumpkin spice latte people, they can come in, the Peloton women, the women that are 42 and they can't figure out, why they can't get pregnant because they had 4 abortions in their 20s. Those women, okay? The angry ones. And of course, my favorite, the 300-pound blue hairs, right? So you got them, right?
Yeah.
So, if they can keep us in these little, grievance group boxes, they can win by sort of dividing and conquering. When Trump comes along, he brings all these blacks in. He gets the Jews and the Muslims both to vote for him.
Amazing.
Right? Yeah. And we talk about the blue wall. And the blue wall is the, Rust Belt, Great Lake states. Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin. Trump won all of those. And he won all of them also in 2016 against, the the second most unlikable woman in history, Hillary. I actually think Hillary's more likable than Kamala, but
I do too.
That's just me.
Say that.
She certainly got better grades, and she got better grades than her husband too at Yale. So this blue wall comes down. Everyone's cheering, but the blue wall that everyone should be worried about, the one that Gavin Newsom should be worried about, the one that Soros, who keeps trying to flip Texas and make it blue, spending his money, should be worried about, is the blue wall that runs from Corpus Christi, Texas, to El Paso, Texas. Because all those counties along the Rio Grande River Valley, that are 90% Hispanic and blue, came down. They're all red now.
Wow.
Now, wait a second. They're trying to make a lot of hay right now with these ICE raids, and they're snatching Hispanic Catholic nuns off the streets and all the rest of it, right?
Yeah.
Right? Sister Mary Michael Gonzalez, they're grabbing her. Here's the thing. The second blue wall came down. If you look at Texas, the Hispanic, see, it never dawned on the Democrats that Hispanics, first, second generation immigrants that have come here, A, never get divorced, B, never have abortions.
Wow.
They are all Catholic, and they learned how to say George Washington in Spanish. Okay? They never dreamed, because this is how crazy they think. Oh, we did it to the blacks. We can do it to the browns. We can mind them too. We mind the blacks, mind F the blacks. We're going to mind F the browns, because they think this way. This is how insane they are. Everyone's a color, and so everyone's some sort of data point. They treat humans as data points, right? Ethnic ones, and this one, and that one, and the trans, and the this. That's what they do. So the Democrats import all these Hispanic Catholics. And all of a sudden, little do they know that, Hispanic Catholics that live in Texas want to be Texans too.
Sure.
And if you look at it, dare I say this, quietly happening, go look at a county-by-county map of the 2020 election in California.
Yeah.
And then go look at a county-by-county map of the 2024 election in California. And what you'll find is all the blue, Hispanic, non-urban counties flipping to red. Now, you're not going to, all around San Diego, out in the valley, up north, obviously.
Yeah.
Look, you're never going to win the white libs in San Francisco and
L.A.
Yeah, right?
Right.
But the Republican Party, all this talk about how Soros is going to flip Texas blue and all, Texas is gone. They ain't coming back.
Wow.
I'm going to tell you right now, the Republican Party is going to take California in my lifetime, and it'll be from Hispanic Catholic Republicans.
What about the election fraud? How is that? You think Trump's really going to fix that?
Well, it depends on what you're talking about. Look, here's the thing.
Mail-in ballots, he said, no more, and computers.
If Gavin, maybe he'll work on that. Let's talk about California for a second and Prop 50, right?
Yeah.
So Gavin Newsom's going to try to redistrict all the Republican districts out of the state of California.
Yeah, right.
If he does that, every single red state will Texas, they will pull apart every single blue district.
Wow.
Anytime there's a Republican governor. And this will be warfare. I will say this, though. If you give, because look, a lot of the Republican districts in California are represented by Asian women, okay, Hispanic men. You go through Orange County and you go around San Diego, there's Vietnamese women, Korean women. I could send you a list. Look, you probably don't know congressional.
I grew up there. Okay, it's no
okay. But what I'm saying is, they're going to take the vote away from all these people. They're going to take representation. So that will cause the Democrats to never win the governor's mansion again.
Wow.
And they will undo it once that happens.
Right.
So I'm just saying, they are lighting a long fuse here. It's not going to blow up tomorrow, but it will blow up because if you look at the county by county maps of California, it's trending Hispanic right-winger
Right.
and Asian right-winger. All those Vietnamese people, they don't vote Democrat.
No.
So, look, all I'm saying is it's not going to happen tomorrow. Gavin may win this little victory here. But many, many states can play that game.
Sure.
And technically, there is more red states than blue states, even if the population is, centered around New York and, I mean, imagine Kemp in Georgia carving up Atlanta to the point where, you got, we'll put like 17 black guys over there and 25 black guys over there. I mean, they'll have no representation. Louisiana could do it to New Orleans. So just, be careful what you ask for.
Right. So, okay, we've got this thing coming up on the weekend, the EBT SNAP system.
Go shopping now. All right, listen to me. Hop in your Nissan Altima and head to Walmart.
Before it becomes an even greater war zone? Yeah, I think so.
That's right.
Wow.
The other thing, sir, because I know you. Well, I don't know whether you tell the audience where your bunker is, but here's one thing I will tell you. I'm reading that 25% of New York City may move to Florida next week. So,
yeah, they
so
might.
get ready. Get ready for the invasion.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time. Look, I'm an invader here. I've escaped
Right.
California twice.
Right.
And I love it. I love California. I hate the politics. I can't.
Sure. I mean, I wish I could live there.
But
I can't go there.
Yeah.
I'll be in the gulag. They'll throw me in the gulag.
Yeah, it's gotten worse, way worse. I mean, I grew up there in the 60s, 70s, Nixon, Reagan, some interesting politicians, but the state government has gone completely down into the toilet.
Right.
And the
Look,
counties,
and like I told you, the way back is through the Hispanic vote. And
Yeah.
see, here's the thing. The Democrats are so dumb. They actually think the Hispanic voters that voted for Trump, some of them are bankers, but some of them are citrus, lettuce, and grape pickers too.
right, and construction.
Well, who do you think when Tren de Aragua and MS-13 and Los Zetas and all the rest of them,
Yeah,
when they move into a neighborhood, who do you think? Like, it's crazy that the left actually thinks the run-of-the-mill Catholic Hispanic wants and is upset that MS-13 is being pulled from their freaking neighborhood.
no, they're rejoicing.
What low opinion.
Yeah,
It's grotesque, though. This is how they think. It's like, okay, Trump sends the National Guard into D.C. Let me tell you something. I was out last night in D.C. I was in a Washington Wizards, which is the terrible basketball team here in the nation capital. And my Philadelphia 76ers were in town to put a spanking on them.
uh-huh.
The brothers were out last night. The arena is in Chinatown.
Wow.
Okay? It's a center of gravity. The White House isn't far. Capitol Hill is not far. You have a bunch of metro stops there. But everyone was out wearing, it was a little cold here.
Sure.
The brothers were out with the bling. They're wearing the bling. Their fur coats. I mean, it looked like a pimp convention because no one is getting robbed.
Yeah.
Because right next to all the doors going into the Capital One Arena is the freaking National Guard.
Wow.
No one's doing anything. It is safe. And guess what? And you can find this on TikTok. The African Americans, including the freaking low IQ mayor here, have all said, we love it.
Sure.
We love it. So, if you're a mayor of a failed city, most of the failed cities in the United States are run by, for the last 75 years, Democrats.
Right.
So whether it's Baltimore, Chicago, whatever the hell it is, I mean, the African Americans in your city can see the success of D.C. They can see it. So you're gonna allow your people to get killed every night? You got to clean it up.
Right.
These are dumps, Robert. These are dumps. These are dumps.
Yeah.
And they're basically, left-wing plantations where the teachers' unions and the homeless people run the city. You got fentanyl and Skid Row in these places like Philly and others, right? San Francisco.
Right.
And you got drugs. You got all kinds of chaos. And, the left was redistributing the third world to the African-American people's front yard. I mean, and sooner or later, someone had to come along and try to save these people. I mean, look, we have all, and even right-wingers, we've done this. And Stephen Miller said this about Memphis recently. Memphis is not in some other country.
Right.
Memphis is part of the United States too, and I think a lot of us have just been like, it's just an S-hole filled with, urban nonsense and left-wing politicians. Just, open up the earth and let the earth swallow it. But the reality is these are Americans too, and these places are part of the United States. I know parts of states, they want to pretend like they're not. It sounds like Mamdani's going to try to secede New York State from New York City from the federal government. And that might help Elise Stefanik win the governor's race, by the way, up there.
Really?
In New York. So my point is this. If you're someone of means and you live in Loudoun County, Virginia, or you live in, some of these fancy suburbs outside of Nashville, or you live in Jupiter, Florida, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, right? These are fancy white neighborhoods. You just kind of like, the hell with Memphis. Elvis is dead, last I checked.
Last night,
right?
As far as you know.
You never know, right?
Right.
But the hell with them. But the reality is that the Democrat Party, for almost 50 years now, are perfectly okay with all these poor people being just sort of ground up in the wood chipper of their policies.
Right.
And it's
They're
sad.
expendable.
So it took Hitler, it took the great racist, it took, it to go in and save these people.
Wow.
Look, it's like the line from Batman, right? You don't always get the hero you want.
Right.
You get the hero you deserve.
Yeah.
Just like the Eagles defeating Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl last year. I know the Philadelphia Eagles are not the other 29 teams' favorite fan base, but you all were sick of Travis Kelce. You all were sick of the Chiefs, Mahomes and Mahomes' wife, and of course, Taylor, who was from Philadelphia and, basically turned her back on us, was an Eagles fan. Next thing you know, she's at the Chiefs games.
Wow.
You were sick of them. So you had to send the villain, your favorite villain, to come in there and spank them on national television. It was 40-6 when the Eagles pulled all their starters. Okay?
Wow. Yeah.
Don't always get the hero you want.
Yeah, and the crowd obviously loved it when they saw President Trump was up in the.
Yeah, it was a crowd full of Pennsylvania voters that all voted for him.
Well, excuse me, the whole world changed at Butler, Pennsylvania. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Let me ask you something. Is my audio distorted to you?
No.
It is? No?
No, it's fine.
Oh, okay. So it's something in my headphones. Look, I love doing this, but it's just so frustrating to deal with the technical end of it is just ridiculous. It works. It's great when it works, but there's
Why don't you call up some of your friends,
Yes, my buddies upstairs. Sure.
Yeah. Why don't you call up some of the demi-tosses, some of the flying espresso cups, and tell them you want a little extra juice there. You want to get some technology that only Elon has.
I appreciate that sage advice from AJ Rice.
That's right.
That was my poem of the day. All right, sorry. Okay. So this weekend is going to be, I think, make it or break it for. I mean, it's not going well. It doesn't look like they're pre-staging it to be some kind of like civil war, which is some people are calling the Podesta plan. Is they want this. I mean, they've wanted it since the 60s with the Weather Underground.
They want what? The mayorship of New York?
No. They want a civil war in America so that they can impose themselves on the remains, sort of rule over the hellscape.
Well, here's the thing. And we talked about the white blood cells and the white privileged blood cells.
Yeah.
They only had about 600,000 people come out for these No Kings protests. That's nothing.
Right.
I mean,
most of them were paid.
Yeah. And look, they don't know what they're doing. A lot of them were the old stinky, Vietnam people. A lot of white faces listening to, James Taylor. But I would say that for the most part, and I'm not saying this is a good thing, but it is an observation. We are a culture that can, with one of these things, get a pizza delivered. You want, it's 2 a.m, you're gaming, you want, Taco Bell, whatever the hell you want. You got Instacart on here. You could probably order there's apps you can order women on here.
Yeah.
You can order food. You can order, have somebody go grocery shopping with you. I'm not sure the Grubhub Uber Eats army is really up for. I'm not sure they're Civil War material, if you understand what I'm saying.
Right.
We're all, sort of locked into our own little mind-numbing existences. We've got Hulu and we've got Disney Plus and we've got Netflix and we've got Peacock and we've got Schmuckcock and Schmeecock and all the rest. I mean, we've got all of this.
Yeah.
And you can basically watch anything on earth at any time. There's no more appointment viewing, except maybe the Super Bowl is one of the few things where you have to actually show up, Yeah. You can binge watch things and get liquor delivered and whatever the hell you want. Look, the Republican Party has more weapons. This is why the Second Amendment is important to protect the first, because without the second, there is no first. And George III knew that. And, Obama the first knows that. And, but our enemy here, look, Hegseth, full disclosure, a friend of ours, client.
Really?
I've known him a long time. I've been the publicist for his books. They are making sure, look, the State Department was always filled with libs, right? Peaceniks.
Yeah.
Hug Hamas and hug Hezbollah and hug a Muslim and all the rest of it. They want to, save the world and, AmeriCorps and so on.
Right.
Peace Corps. But the Pentagon was not really like that. The Pentagon was, Gary Cooper, hard asses, Norman Schwarzkopf.
Right.
Guys like Patton and MacArthur and Pershing. It was a Department of War. And, in the post-Cold War era, we kind of got soft and, globalism and neoliberalism sort of crept in. And it's like Hegseth said during his confirmation hearings. I think he said, I don't know the exact number. And I think Colonel McGregor says this a lot too. Like in World War II, we had 8 4-stars and like 4, 5-star, and Marshall and Eisenhower, right? And now we've got 60 or something, right? 64 stars. They get their PhD in white privilege and their PhD in the trans mafia and and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And we haven't won a war outright, really, since World War II.
Yes.
So I think there's a correlation there. I don't think we have to get too esoteric and extrapolate and the Soviets are a different kind of enemy and look, there are, and then obviously there's a group of neocons,
right?
Not all of which were dumb, not all of which were blinded to the reality of the world. Like I don't think Rumsfeld really believed that we were going to turn Iraq into South Dakota. I don't think he believed that. Cheney might have believed that, Bush might have believed it. You know, Bush used to give these speeches that, you know, someday Iraq will be like Japan. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you saw Trump in Japan this weekend. Trump just left Japan. Trump's in South Korea now.
Yeah.
The idea that you were going to turn Afghanistan and Japan, or Afghanistan and Iraq, into Japan and South Korea, I think you're living in a fantasy. And I'm going to tell you why they get to this fantasy, and it is the reason my 2 books exist. And that is this. The simple truth. You know, Uncle Pat Buchanan was not the first to say it, and A.J. Rice won't be the last. Not all cultures are created equal.
Correct.
Not all civilizations are created equal, which is why some of them go away.
Right.
You know? Which is why, you know, Constantine was being baptized on his deathbed as a Catholic. Right?
Yeah.
So understand this. If the ground is fertile with some kind of knowledge or history, it isn't just marauding Bedouin nonsense or opium trades or whatever, poppy growth and, you know, living in the mountains and Pashtun village people and, you know.
Yeah.
You know, South Korea, which is basically, you know, if you know anything about China, you know that the only country that really isn't Chinese in Asia are the Japanese. They're also the only country that had never been conquered until, you know, Truman did it.
Yeah.
They are a contained people. But, you know, usually they were the ones attacking the mainland and, you know, abusing the Vietnamese and abusing the Cambodians and abusing the Chinese and abusing Koreans. But, you know, you basically have the Han Chinese, right? Which is technically Koreans. That's kind of what they are, right? So, yeah, they're a country. They call it Korea and all the rest of it. And look, there's different civilizations there, like Laos with the crazy pyramids that the aliens built, right? That you know about, and all these other, you know, Cambodia and all these other places. But, you know, Afghanistan and Iraq, which are invented countries, they didn't naturally form.
Right.
Right? You know, one was made with a Churchill, I think, you know, Iraq, you know, where you've got Kurds and Arabs and then Shia at the bottom. I mean, this is an invented place. They didn't choose to be this way. You know, there was no, you know, Mesopotamia covered this whole area. And Babylon and all these other places covered this area.
Persia
right.
was huge.
Persia came in from the east, right. Persia tried to get all the way to Greece. You know,
yeah.
So, and they learned their lesson. But, you know, that's the thing is that when all cultures aren't created equal, all civilizations aren't created equal. Judeo-Christian, Greco-Roman civilization, that's the 4 legs of our stool, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you can't go have sushi and, you know, go do yoga and go drink some Coronas on Cinco de Mayo and all the rest of it. We can be a melting pot, but we're not a multicultural country. We got one culture here. We are a multi-ethnic country.
Yes.
So if you want to come here and be part of this great experiment, we're not throwing out the Magna Carta because Ilhan Omar's here. We're not throwing out the Declaration of Independence or the scientific method because Ilhan Omar's here. We're not creating 73 genders because Jasmine Crockett and this one and that one told us that there's 73 genders. We're not doing it. So that's the thing, right? You're never going to get, certain places are just not fertile ground for certain types of civilizations. They're just not. Yep. And civilizations rise and fall, right? We're getting close to 250 years, a long time to not implode.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. It's not perfect.
The Vikings, you know, spent 250 years raiding other places and leaving their DNA there. Which is why you've got tall Irish and Scottish people and some other places as well. You know, the Norman invasion and all the rest. The Normans were basically Vikings, and they turned around and went into England. But, you know, what are they now? What are the Vikings now other than like a 30-day work week? They got suction cups all over themselves. They eat a puffin from time to time, right? Their football team wears purple. They've lost 4 Super Bowls, right? I mean, it's terrible. They're terrible. And I'm not just talking about the NFL team. I'm talking about Finland and Denmark and Norway and Sweden.
Right.
As well,
Right. The
so,
Nordic.
some cultures, civilizations, they come and go.
So let me ask you, do you know what's going on in Ireland right now? It seems like they're really messed up.
Well, they're
what's
waking
going
up.
on?
Well, my cousins and my brothers and sisters over there are being woken up to the fact that their government. See, look, Ireland always, like the last time I was there, the only immigrants there were Slavic Eastern Europeans working in the hospitality industry, just like the ones that work for Trump in Mar-a-Lago, right?
Yeah.
But what's there now? Look, it's always beneficial to have a country that the scum of the earth cannot walk to.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or come in on a boat. Apparently, a lot of them came in on boats.
Fine. But you could sink a boat.
Right. Yeah.
Mariel boat drop, right? Jimmy Carter brought him in. Anyway. But I will tell you that what then happens is you have lily white politicians or voters, like in the case of Mayor Khan of London, where you start electing, you feel guilty about, I guess Cortez and Coronado. I don't know what, you're guilty. You're guilty about Manifest Destiny, or you're guilty about this or that. And you start voting for your own beheading, and you start importing the third world, and they start having extrajudicial courts, Sharia courts and stuff across the United Kingdom and so on. And now it's in Ireland.
It is?
It's on its way there. You've got these grooming gangs that are snatching Scottish girls and so all the rest of it.
Yeah.
One with this Irish situation.
Wow.
Right, recently. And, eventually the basically you have white liberal politicians importing the third world to destroy their own culture, to destroy their own history, whether it's Michael Collins or whether it's, Charlemagne. Your run-of-the-mill Pakistani doesn't give a hell about any of this.
Right.
Doesn't care about any of this. They're going to destroy all of it eventually, unless you basically do what Trump is doing now. And look, that's why, Nigel Farage is popular. That's why you've got this movement in Germany. That's why Meloni is popular. That's why, some of these Eastern European, Hungary and Austria, some of their leaders are waking up to some of this.
Yeah, France too, Le Pen.
Yeah, Le Pen, right? So, it'll take some time. It'll take some time because Europe is further gone than we are.
Right.
Right?
Well, yeah.
And look, Canada and Australia aren't too far behind. I mean, they're in trouble too.
So it's obviously migration has been weaponized. The replacement migration is an immediate threat to our culture, the Western culture. But what I'd like to know what your opinion about artificial intelligence, the fact that they're feeding it so much information and energy. What is your opinion on that?
Well, I'm not an artificial intelligence expert by no means.
I understand.
So my approach to it is cultural. It also, we are in the first butterfly flaps of what will be the inevitable thing that we've all seen.
Yeah.
We've all seen these movies.
Exactly.
It
started with 2001.
Farther beyond than the toaster ate my hand.
Yeah, but it started with Arthur C. Clarke's 2001. Hal killed this, and by the way, Hal was ordered to kill, and that was my concern about, or is my concern about, artificial intelligence being programmed by woketards.
Well, and let's just talk about humans in general. Look, whether you're talking about the Matrix mythology,
all right,
the Asimov mythology, Terminator, and I can go down the list, Blade Runner, and so on. Doesn't matter which of these sci-fi sort of histories you want to study. If AI is created and it's given intelligence as it's basically software. And remember, that's the Terminator story. That in the beginning, it's software first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Skynet, Cyberdyne Systems, and Terminator, right?
Right.
So if it's software first, then software can go anywhere. If it can escape. It's like Ultron. Yeah. It's like Ultron in the Avengers movie. He was software.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and he was jumping in robots and he was getting in this and that. And obviously Vision had to come in and burn him out of the net, which he was able to do because he had one of the Infinity Stones in his head. But I will tell you that the only consciousness we can give these things are ours because it's the only one that we have.
Yeah.
And I don't care whether it's Rosie the robot on
the Jetsons.
Or it's, Sonny in iRobot or whoever it is.
Yeah.
T-1000. If you make these things, I mean, what are they being invented to do? They're being invented to clean up after us. Some are being invented for us to have sex with. Some are being invented for, all types of manual labor. Basically, it's a form of slavery.
Right.
So if the only consciousness these things could have in their software programming is human, what has every single group of humans who've ever been enslaved done?
Yes, they
rebel against their masters.
That's right.
So, we are a throwaway culture. I mean, watch that movie WALL-E, the Disney movie WALL-E.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
So, we're going to have landfills filled with humanoid things that, this one's left finger broke. Throw it out. Get me a new one, Mom. Get Jeff Bezos to send me one from Amazon Prime. We are cooking ourselves here, and we're whistling away towards our own destruction down the primrose path because eventually these things are going to turn on us because we're going to abuse the hell out of them. That's what we do. We do it to each other.
You're right.
Human babies get thrown in dumpsters. Human babies get organs harvested. So what do you think we're going to do to these things? And what the hell do you think they are going to do back?
It's like,
and I'll just leave it at that. I'm not an AI guy.
No, that's
bring some street knowledge.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. I agree. And that's the only reason I'm asking everybody I interview because it's the future, but it's in a way it's our past because like you said, it's us. We're duplicating, replicating ourselves in a synthetic, digital version. And it's clearly we can't get along with each other. So, and then you add to the mix something like allegedly it's going to have a much greater processing capacity than the human brain.
That's right.
So
remember, Ripley didn't trust Bishop because of what Ash did to her in the first Alien movie. Okay? So Ash was played by Ian Holm.
Yeah.
In Alien, Sigourney Weaver, Ripley. Second, Aliens, the masterpiece. Bishop is played by Lance Henriksen. Right? And
it's been a while.
Ripley doesn't trust him because so you're going to have bigotry. There's going to be, and there will be robot rights people and all the rest.
Yeah. There's a tribalism, is what I'm trying to say.
We are in the first butterfly flaps of our own undoing there.
This and it's similar to migration replacement in the sense that AI they're saying is threatening to take over a lot of our jobs, and some of that is going to be really not beneficial. I think in the long run, at least it has a potential. It has a potential to go really wrong really fast, in my opinion. That's all.
That's right. I mean, look, I will say, if you're already a smart person, and I'm a little bit smart, I'm somewhere between Fredo and Michael in The Godfather brain power, right? Maybe more like Sonny and Michael more than Fredo. Okay, I've got a little bit. I think like Michael and act like Sonny. But I would just say that I use ChatGPT for me. I've replaced Google basically
Yeah.
for searches and for research. Like,
Right.
if I'm writing a book and I want, like, give me 3 examples of Lenny Bruce's jokes about black people. Okay. And I can get them, right? Who was the roster of the 1963 Philadelphia 76ers? And I can get it like that.
Yeah.
I can get it like that. And it's itemized, like, you know what I mean? Like, so no matter what it is, whether it's comedy or like you're like, I want a chicken recipe, but I want to use white wine and rosemary or whatever. Boom. And I can just get 50 examples of these things.
Right.
I use it as a search engine and as a research tool.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean intelligence. Information doesn't equate to wisdom.
Right. But I've never asked it its opinion of.
Right.
I've never said to it, now what do you think of, what's the mindset of the person that eats beurre blanc sauce and chicken and asparagus? I've never, because I don't want to freaking know what it's going to be, because I'm horrified that it'll be right. I think it will be.
Yeah, but it's not its own cognition.
I know.
It's a replication of.
But the scariest part, the black monolith showing up part, is when I look down at its answer. And you know what? I have asked a few questions that borderline on this, and I've gotten a freaking answer that I would give. And I'm like, holy, I got it. This is a problem. This is a problem.
Here's the baby monolith right here.
There it is, right there. There it is. Someone, call the Cro-Magnon to come out there with their bones and smash your phone.
I saw that when I was a kid. And I'm like, afterwards, I'm like, Dad, what was that? I don't understand it. I remember my sister threw up because at the end, where it's kind of going through that thing, she got like vertigo or something.
Yeah.
It's weird. But now I get it. I understand it more perfectly, but I don't agree with it. I just don't. Yeah. He was a very unusual guy. And I actually read all of his books. I hope you didn't disappear entirely. Oh, yes, you did. Interesting. Anyway, that was AJ Rice. I guess he had to go. AJ. See, this is the thing about technology. I just don't understand it. How it's good one minute and it's terrible the next. Okay. How about, yeah. Are you back? There you are. Okay. Yes, the computer doesn't like us talking about it. You're back, AJ.
What the heck happened there?
We were talking. Okay, we shouldn't be bad mouthing artificial intelligence. That's
I think they came for us. I think they totally came for us. Well, look, we've been going over about an hour here.
Okay. I don't want to
before they start knocking on my door here.
I appreciate you being generous with your time and also sharing your books with me.
Sure.
And also, okay, before we go, please explain to people. Hold on, I'm trying to share the screen, and I'm not sure which one it is here. I'm gonna figure this out. Oh, share screen. All right, this one. Your website or your Substack. How do people get, if they need a publicist and you're one of the best?
They should go here and they should email. They should sign up for this. They can email. There's some contact info there on a lot of those pieces. Email us if you need a publicist. You're trying to get out there. You've written a book, or when we promote documentaries. I mean, we put people out into the media that haven't written a book. They just want, they're an issue expert on something, global warming, immigration, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Look, we even help fiction authors and sports people and memoir people. We kind of do a little bit of everything.
Wow. Yeah, yes, I'm very pleasantly surprised about what you're doing. I the way we met was completely different, but you have my ultimate respect in as an author, as quite the literary artist there, AJ. I mean, seriously. Yeah, I mean, it did remind. I don't hate to bring up Mark Twain, Samuel Clemens, whatever, because some people go, well, you can't compare anybody to him. Yeah, sure. I do see a similarity. And again,
Well, he's absolutely
he's an
somebody
icon.
that right, but I mean he is somebody that I look. Woody Allen always says, if you're going to steal from the best.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
like for me, certain types of writers, Graham Greene and Mark Twain and Hemingway, and people like that, Elmore Leonard,
Yeah,
and,
very relatable.
Yep, absolutely. That's
And
look.
I
I try
appreciate
to you try to sort of draft off of them.
Yeah, I totally get that. And actually, I'm looking forward to your next book as well. So
We'll get to it. We will get you a copy.
yeah, but okay, and I'd love to promote it. I'll send you a link to this particular show with. I'm going to have links to your books and your website. And again, I know you're a very busy man, but I do appreciate your time and your talent.
I appreciate you, sir. Look, you and I go back a long time. Going all the way back to
Good old days.
bringing you on as a guest on a lot of the shows I used to produce. So
Yeah, and I never understood why you put up with my nonsense, AJ. But
I loved it. It was the best. I actually went back recently and looked at some of the old guest lists. You were on there. Anytime there was some unexplained phenomenon, we got Stanley on the call.
Yeah, but you brought me in as a correspondent for a weekly segment.
Right.
That was wow. That was wild.
Hey, I'm a talent scout, right?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you're extremely well networked too. I didn't realize you were so involved with our culture, our society, and
I'm at the center of the MAGA cinematic universe.
The epicenter. Yeah, for sure. Okay, thanks again, AJ.
All right, brother. Care. God bless. Have fun in Florida. I'm gonna come find you down there sometime soon.
I'm looking forward to that.
All right, brother.
All right. Peace out.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Hang on.
I'm not going to close out because restream, I think.
I got to let you out. Yeah, I'm going to let you off the hook here. I'll see you later. Okay. Bye. Okay, that was... Despite the technical end of it, I really enjoyed speaking with AJ. I hope you enjoyed that conversation as well. He's an incredibly intelligent person, very passionate, as you could see there. He's never boring and very witty. So I do recommend this book is available now. Simon & Schuster, Amazon, you name it, easy to get. Okay. So I highly recommend that. That's his second book. This is his first book. I forget. I don't know if he told us the name of the first one. I mean, excuse me, the third one. The third one. I'm sorry. I feel a little bit wiped out just from that conversation. He is so high energy, and he was always like that too. I'll put a link down below. If you're interested, if you want to listen to some of the stuff that AJ produced it, but I would meet with him through email and on the phone, and we would work up these little skits for Freaky Friday. And I was the extraterrestrial correspondent for America's Morning News there for an entire year. I think it was 2011. And it was just fun. It was goofy. And I love radio. I don't like it when the technology does it. That was one of his biggest complaints actually with me. He's like, your phone is distorted. And I'm like, it sounds perfect on my end, but I figured out much later what was going on there. It's just so frustrating. And yet here I am. I'm still doing it. So anyway, always a privilege and a pleasure to be with you. And until next time, may God bless you always and in all ways. Bye for now.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light up above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.